Greetings, greetings. I hope all is well with you today. I'm going to allow some of you to come on, get on in. It's a little warm today, and we're gonna get right into this today. I was talking to a brother of mine by the name of Brother Wright. From Palmsdale, California. He often gives me a call and checks up on me, and he and I was talking, and we was talking about he had solutions of black people to Freemasonry. I found it to be very interesting. So I started doing my own little digging. Yeah, I did. So those of you who are coming on today, we're going to talk about the contribution of black people to Freemasonry. At first I thought about the contribution of Africa to Freemasonry, but I'm talking about black people. So when I say black people, I'm talking about us of the melanated people, the carpet people. Peace to everybody who's coming on tonight. Brother Michael, appreciate you being in right now. Thank you for coming on. And I appreciate each of you who tune in and just, get some of this, whatever, get some knowledge I have to offer. I appreciate you. But in all you're doing, I want you to go and do your own research, do your own reading also. So, once again, today we're going to talk about the contribution of black people to Freemasonry and the Order of the Eastern Star. Because a lot of times we get written out of everything. I don't care what your jurisdiction is. We as black people, we get written out of everything. Even if we was there in the beginning, even if we took the first bullet, we always seem to find ourselves in the back of the damn bus. We get written out of history if it wasn't for those like Dr. Clark and others who saw a need to make sure that we were not just displaced in history. If it was up to some other people, we wouldn't have no say so about who we are and who we were in this thing we call history because they would write us out. So today we're going to talk about the contributions of black people to Freemasonry. Whether it be in Africa, whether it be here in the United States, Brazil, wherever. We're going to talk about those contributions that we have made to Freemasonry. Because here's a fact, and I want you to check this out for yourself. When they speak of Freemasonry and they talk about where did it start, they say it started in England. That's what they say. And when I say they, you know exactly who I am talking about referring to. I need not to call a name. I won't do that. But I want you to go and check it out for yourself. You can Google it, YouTube it, whatever you want to do. When you say, where did Mason begin? They're going to tell you 1733, 1717, 1728. They're going to give you those dates and years, but it would have nothing to do with Africa. It would have nothing to do with the black man, period. I'm just telling you, if we don't write our own history, somebody will write our story for us. It not only becomes, it doesn't become no longer our history, it becomes their history, their story about us. So today we're going to have that conversation in regards to the contribution of black people to Freemasonry. Because we have made some, man, we have made those contributions. Hell, as a matter of fact, let the truth be told. Masonry itself comes from the black man. That's a you can I'm so excited about the mere fact that based upon what I've read through mediums, books, based upon my own research, that's my truth. My truth is this, from my own study, is that when I see masonry, I see it coming from the continent of Africa. That's a fact. Now, you need to go do your own research and you tell me what you come up with. Now, we're not going to always agree, but let's try to find the narrow or the narrow part to where we can agree, because truth is subjective, because I have my truth, you have your truth. But in all of that, we're going to agree on that, which we find is necessarily the it factor, the truth. Okay? No matter how we get there and no matter what role we take. So today we're going to examine, we're going to look at, we're going to have a discussion on, and we're going to take some serious kickback on the mere fact that black people has made a huge contribution to Freemasonry, but yet we are denied that. When you look at Freemasonry, when you look at the history of Freemasonry, we are ridden out of it. The first thing they want to tell us when they're talking about Freemasonry, they want to give us Prince Hall. And there's nothing wrong with giving us Prince Hall. But before Prince Hall, there was John Pine. Now, you know that John Pine helped to write, if I'm not mistaken, the Constitution for which, the Anderson Constitution for which a lot of us like to refer to when you're talking about Freemasonry. And he was black, a free man, okay, in England. But you don't hear much about John Pine. Sets from 1690 to 1756. You don't hear much about John Pine. You got to really go research John Pine. See, a lot of us, and I say black people, black Masons, we were there. But there's no writing about us. They'll write you out of the story because they don't want you to know the truth. You have to go get it for yourself. Find your truth and then bring it back and then share it with someone else and then dissect that truth. And then you're going to have to break that whole thing down. But what happens with us, we allow the medium, whether it be the Torah, the Bible, the Kabbalah, whether it be the Book of the Dead, we allow other books and we use those as gospels. Yes, they are gospels, but they are not the gospel truth. Okay, hear me clearly. Those books I just named, yes, they are the gospel, but they're not the gospel truth. Because if there was a gospel truth, all of us would agree upon those books. But most of us won't. We will go and we would fight over which book is considered truth. We will. So none of them, in my opinion, is the gospel truth because they're just gospel. Delivering you a message for which you have to go and dissect for yourself. Those books are considered the holy, what we would call VSL, holy volumes, or sacred volumes of law, volume of sacred law, VSL. And they sit upon the altars of Freemasonry. Because Freemasonry regards no man for his religious beliefs. Okay? So follow me just for a minute and then do your own research. You don't have to just take my word for it, but I just want you to look at it from a different perspective. When you're using these mediums, and whether it be on YouTube or even myself or any other channels that you may go through and you may find something that is interesting to you, the best thing you can do is when they give you a message or knowledge or some things that may tinkle your ears, for you to go back and research that for yourself and find that truth. Find it. It's there. It's up to you to go get it. So let's just look at some of the famous Eastern stars that nobody talks about. We know a couple. We know that Maya Angelou was an Eastern star. From some of us do. Yeah, Maya Angelou was an Eastern star. Okay, and I'm quite sure that most of you know that Auntie Maxwell Waters is an Eastern star. Okay, I know that most of you probably know that Rosa Parks was an Eastern star, and so is Latoya Jackson. She's an Eastern star. These are our contributions to the Order of the Eastern Star, and there are so many others. Even when you are thinking about those black individuals here in the United States, there were Freemasons, such as a Prince Hall, such as a John G. Jones, such as a Thurgood Marshall, such as a Richard Pryor, such as Shaquille O'Neal, Scottie Pippen, and many others that have come before them. Look at what they'll contribute as far as to Freemasonry. Their educational skills that they had and they shared. You know, the athleticism, their contribution goes far, far, far beyond that. And then if you really want to get down to it, and you want to look at the contributions of black people to Freemasonry, let's look at the arts and the science, arithmetics and math. Let's take a look at that. Where did all that start from? Let's look at the symbolism of Freemasonry. It didn't just pop up through the Greeks. It just didn't pop up over in England. You got to go get this. You got to go see this for yourself. If you have ever visited the continent of Africa, most people want to go see the pyramids in Egypt, which is great, which is one of the symbols within Freemasonry. Look at where that's at. When you think of arithmetic, when you think of music, you think of Africa. You know, you think of the drums and the rhythm, and you think of the vibration that it sends through your body. Whenever black people hear a good beat, a good rhythm, oh, we on it. We on it. I don't care if it's country, blues. We know our body is built for that. But they write us out of everything. It is up to us to write it down for ourselves and pass it on to our loved ones who are Freemasons in the Order of the Eastern Star. That's what it's up to. Because if we don't write it down, it's not going to be written. First of all, I want to say, everybody that's coming in, it's great to have you aboard. I appreciate you. I'm so excited. Man, I was like, I need to go back and see who's all on. I appreciate everybody who's popping in right now. You know, some of us are boycotting football. Some of us are watching football. But, hey, I appreciate you having you on right now. I appreciate you coming in. Wherever you may be at, greetings, Brother Diamonds. I appreciate you. And Pearson, Tony N. Pearson, I appreciate you. I think I mispronounced your last name. I'm sorry if I did. Brother Gilmore, Vincent, hey, how you doing, brother? Brother Michael, I appreciate you once again. Everybody who's coming on, I just want to say thank you very much. Everything in the English language ascribed is a root from the Spanish, Latin, and Greek. Many words are thus mispronounced, misinterpreted, and mispronounced. There you go. So we look at Africa architects. You will see Mason. Oh, no doubt about it. Peace, brother illuminating light. What I'm saying, brothers and sisters, is that we need to start looking at what we have contributed to Freemasonry, because it's not being told. I don't care what jurisdiction you in. You hear me say that a lot now, because it really doesn't matter to me. Jurisdictions don't count no more to me. So when you want to come up to me and tell me about your jurisdiction, where you hail from, I'm happy for you. But that doesn't do anything for me. If you're speaking of Freemasonry, it doesn't. Because I have for myself indulged myself in Freemasonry, as far as from a historical point of view, as far as what black people have contributed to Freemasonry, as far as how black people was kept out of Freemasonry, as far as how we use Freemasonry in the Underground Railroad. Brothers and sisters, I'm just saying, there comes a time when you need to wake up and realize your contribution to Freemasonry. Regardless of our differences, and I know some of you are really hell-bent on that, I don't have time for that. It's a waste of energy. If you can't bring something positive and leave it on the plate for me to digest, you need not to bring anything at all. It will make me sick. I'm just putting it out there as it should be, because a lot of us are afraid. You know, you're afraid of what someone may say to you because you're talking to Brother Tony. You're afraid of what someone may say to you because you're talking to Brother Lewis or whomever. No, I'm not afraid. First of all, I like what my brother Malcolm X said many years ago. Before I was a Mason, I was a black man. Before I was a Baptist, I was a black man. Before I was part of the Nation of Islam, he was a black man. Before any of those, you are a black man. And I'm talking specifically African American brothers and sisters, or the melanated man and woman across the spectrum. Before you're anything, that's what you are. Okay? And we must begin to see that in each other. You know the old church song or a new church song that says, the Jesus in me love the Jesus in you? How can you say that? The Jesus in me, love the Jesus. You heard the song. You know, if you go to a Baptist church, I'm quite sure you've heard the song. You can say that. But can you say that about your African American brothers and sisters? Can you say that about your Somalian brothers and sisters? The Brazilian brothers and sisters? Can you say those things? Because when I look at them, I see myself. You know, that's me. Especially as a Mason, I think the oaths that we take as Masons and as Eastern Stars, the oath that we take brings us in. It binds us together. But when you can't even look at your oath and understand what you have said, you shouldn't have never taken the oath. You shouldn't have never taken it. Because you're in Freemasonry for the wrong reason. This is why today, Brother Michael White from Pomona, California, gave me a call, and he was saying, I got something I want to send to you and share with you on Freemasonry. The contributions of black people to Freemasonry. We must understand we was there in the beginning. Hell, we are the beginning. Without us, you get none of this. And that's what I want to share with you, brothers and sisters. This is no disrespect to my mainstream brothers or whatever, what across the spectrums. I just want you to see your contributions. Because for too long, you've been ridden out of Freemasonry. You go pick up an encyclopedia of Freemasonry, it has nothing about you. And if it has anything about you, it starts with Prince Hall. Let's be honest. It began before him. And they know our history better than we do. Because they had a chance to write it. And in the process, they wrote you out of it. Let's just be honest and let's just be bold about it. Now, some of you are going to look at me and disagree, and that's okay. All I ask you to do is go do your own research and then holler at me where we can have an honest conversation about it. And then we can go from there. But until then, until you go do that for yourself, we can't have a real honest conversation because you're so messed up. You're so screwed up based upon recognition of somebody allowing you to partake in their lodge meeting. So you can't see the fact that they ain't coming to yours. And that's something you have to ask yourself. How is it that a black Mason will leave his own and go join a white lodge, but you never see a brother from mainstream leave their Grand Lodge and go join Prince Hall? I mean, just up and just admit for no reason. I mean, they just want to be over where you at. Can somebody help me out with that? Now, I do know quite a few of us across the spectrum have done it from various jurisdictions, be it international, modern, free, Prince Hall, any label you want to put on it, John G. Jones, PHO. We have left our jurisdictions and went over to mainstream. But how many mainstream brothers have left theirs and come and join you? And this is the problem that I have a lot of times. We will give up on our own and go join some damn body else without putting the energy in that which belongs to us to build us up. I don't care what jurisdiction you're in. You can take that or let it alone. Too many times we do the same thing over and over and wonder why we can't get nowhere. We don't get nowhere because we'll turn our backs on our own before we even put in a good investment. And I heard brothers say, well, I've been an international man for 25 years. And brother, let me tell you, you know, man, they clandestine. Who told you that? Who told you that international was clandestine? Well, based upon their history. Well, let me tell you, a lot of the histories of mainstream, PHA, John G. Jones, a lot of the history is messed up. It is. The ideal is the teachings that you're getting, is it based on Freemasonry principles? Is it based upon the teachings of Freemasonry? Have you been initiated, passed, and raised properly? Have that occurred? Did that happen? Now we can talk. We can say, no, brother, that's not how we do it. And I'm gonna say this, even though we may disagree on that, there are so many different systems of Freemasonry that even if I said I didn't agree with your system, doesn't make me right. It doesn't make me right, even if I disagree with your system. Based upon the fact that outside these borders of the United States, you go to somebody else, go to Haiti and watch how they do an initiation. You'll probably want to quit Freemasonry. And I say that based upon my own experience in talking with a brother from Haiti. Based upon that. Now, if you got something else you want to base that upon, your experience, do that. But I'm sharing with you my own conversation with a brother from Haiti. And he was like, no, bro, we get down, but it's more spiritual, it's more this, more. I'm like, gee, you know, would I really want to go through that process? It is just different. Even if you was in France, the French Masons. My brother-in-law is from Haiti. He joined a French lodge. All of them had swords or swords. Every last one of them took him to the meetings. So it was different. I was like, bro, what are you? He said, yeah, I'm going to lodge meeting tonight. And he's from Boston. He said, I'm going to lodge meeting tonight, and we take swords to our meetings. Everybody has one. And I thought that to be kind of interesting. Because in my meetings, only somebody that got a sword or a sword is the Tyler. And in some lodges, he may have a gun. Depends on where you at. Let's be real. Let's just be truthful here for a moment and understand that as black people, we are not written in the history of Freemasonry as we should be. We're not. Our contributions to Freemasonry starts with Prince Hall, Freemason. And that's a lie. It's a lie. Just like our contributions here in America, they say, well, you know what? The history they want to give you is they start off with slavery. That's a lie. Somebody got to kill the lie. Somebody got to stop it. Somebody got to say, hold on, stop. Back it up. And if we don't, then when people open up history books and they begin to read about Freemasonry, it won't have anything in there about you. This is why this show tonight is dedicated to the famous Eastern Stars, to the famous Black Masons who have made contributions to this order of the Freemasonry Eastern Stars. Sometimes we have to honor our own. If we don't honor our own, nobody else will. I don't care who you are. If we don't do it for ourselves, nobody else will. We need to stop crying and stop begging for someone to do something for us when we can do it for ourselves. That's a fact. Now, with that being said, let's look at some of the comments. All right. Illuminated Light, peace. All right. Greetings. Brother Teller, how you doing? All right. United Grand Lodge of North Carolina. Welcome aboard. I appreciate you. All right. So let's see where we're at. Brother Alex, how you doing? Alex is laughing out loud. But brother, I'm hot, man. I'm for real. And Alex, that's no lie. Alex, I believe, and I've never met you before, but I believe that you're a very astute person in Freemasonry. And if I'm lying, tell me I'm lying. Brother Hawkins, that's the untruth. You're lying. I can take that. Hell, I'm not a sensitive guy. I'm not one of them guys. Oh, you hurt my feelings. No. That's too much power to give to anybody. You hurt my feelings. Nah, I can't give you that. But you can tell me, hey, you know, that's not accurate, Brother Hawkins. You know, that's not true. You can tell me that, and I'll be okay with that. But I'm gonna continue to read and find out for myself, and I'll share with people what I find, and then they can go back and double check it. I'm okay with that. The minister said we were the secrets. Well, the minister was correct, in my own opinion. Now, I'm not asking anybody to agree with me, but you go back and check for yourself. And I say that based upon what I'm finding out for myself. The things that we have contributed to Freemasonry, we have been locked out of. They have not told us about ourselves, and they have a very good history about who we are. You know, and like I like to make the parallel, and I say it all the time. We are Hiram Abiff, who's waiting to be raised from a dead level to a living perpendicular. That's us. We're the ones that was brought from the east and brought to the taken from the east and buried in the west, and with an acacia upon a mountain, waiting for the strong grip of a grand master to come along the way and raise us up. That's us. We're that group of people who was portrayed by 15 ruffians, and then 3 decided to go ahead and commit the murder, while the other 15 went back and told King Solomon, who was black, said, hey, look, man, it was Jubilee, Jubiloom, and Jubilee. It was them, you know. And then as time went on, we heard what they said. Jubilee, it was I. Jubiloom, it was me. Jubilee, no, it was I who gave the final. We've heard that. I make that parallel. I make that parallel for myself so I can understand that in the history of Freemasonry, which I'm a part of, our history is not accurately told. It's not. We hear all the negative things. Well, you know, they split. They broke off. They did this. They did that. We have all the negative things. And yes, I have contributed to that too. Let's just be honest, I have. But we hear them. And then when we hear them, it leaves a bad taste in some's mouth. It does. You know, because that's what they hear. But we need to put a spotlight on the very details of the contributions that we make. Because TV is not going to give you the contribution that we make. A lot of books are not going to give you the contributions that we have made. They're not going to give it to you unless we write it down, unless we produce the movies and write the strips about our own contributions. They're not going to be accurately told. I don't know how many of you remember the movie they did about the Twin Towers. And there was this one man who rescued 11 people from the Twin Towers. Later it was found out there was a black man who actually did the rescuing from the Twin Towers. He saved 11 lives as the building was coming down, but in the movie, he was portrayed as a white guy. Come on. They're not going to tell your story for you. I don't care what jurisdiction you're in. They're not going to tell you. Now, granted, I heard about William Banks. Well, Brother Banks, you know, was it Brother Banks, the gentleman who owns the television station or beauty salon, whatever he owned, you know, and however he did and became a Mason. Some say he wasn't a Mason. But the brother was well off. I don't care. You know what? Their structure is not my business. Their structure is not my business. Okay, it's not. But I want to say William Banks. That brother was smart. He was smart. You know? And however they are structured, that's their structure. If you don't like it, don't join them. And I want to say it's international, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can check me on that. If you don't like their structure, don't join them. If you don't like a John G. Jones structure, don't join them. But stop trying to cut them down. If they are making a significant contribution to their community for where they're at, you either need to join them or shut the up. You got to do it. You have to do it. You know, because if you can't contribute to Freemasonry and all you're going to do is try to down someone because of their jurisdiction, you need not to be a Mason. Let's just take a look once again at the teachings of Freemasonry and see if that lines up with you. Let's take a look at the teachings of Freemasonry and see if that lines up with you. Okay, Masonry. Man's first duty is to love and reverence God. Employ His aid in all your labors and undertakings, and seek His guidance through prayer. Embrace the practice and tenets of your faith. Extend charity and sympathy to all mankind. Shield and support the widows and orphans. Defend the virtues, respect, and of the age. Honor the bond of friendship. Protect the helpless. Lift up the oppressed. Comfort the downcast. Restore dignity to the rejected. And aid in the common stock of knowledge and understanding. Does that line up with you? Is that what you're trying to promote as a Freemason? Is that the teachings that you get? Now let's take a look at this. What is the Masonic beliefs? Let's see if these beliefs line up with you, okay, as a Mason. And I'm going to hop on my Eastern Star System in just a second. But let's look and see if these beliefs lines up with you, okay? Mankind was created by Elohim Some say God. I'm just saying Elohim, okay? I don't know what happened, but I'm back. So let's move on. I couldn't tell you. So let's look at the Masonic beliefs and let's see if this lines up with you. So, mankind was created by Elohim or God. I chose Elohim, okay? That's my choice. That this God is the author of God exists and revealed to man through faith in the book of the sacred volumes of law. Okay? The book of the sacred volumes of law is ultimately the authority of the great lights in Freemasonry. The soul of man extends beyond the grave. Man's commitment to divine providence determines his destiny. Man's reverence for God is the best exemplifies by his actions toward his fellow man. Okay? Consider the universal Freemasonry is the teachings cannot be defined in any singular statement or established profile. The following is a considering to the representation of its fundamental precepts and contributions of the basic tenets of Freemasonry. If you line up with that, that's the basic Masonic belief. If you line up with that which I read before was the basic Masonic teachings. But I don't know where a lot of us get our ideas from. The medium for which you get it from is not a good medium. If you're listening to someone else and they're not telling you to go do your own research, you're listening to the wrong person. And I say that because I know a lot of brothers say, yeah, I read such and such and such and such. Okay, well, what book you get that out of? Because I want to read it too. And I want to come to my own conclusion based upon what somebody else has read, because we're not going to all agree. But if the information is there, trust me, the information is there about us, but it's not being shared. It's being hoarded. It is. It's being hoarded. And this is what you'll get. You get a lot of misinformation unless you go do your own research and find out for yourself. And I encourage everybody, and I say it again and again and again, you need to do that. Because it's not happening. It's not happening. So once again, I want to welcome everybody aboard. Please hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button as you tune in to today's show. And for those of you who are on, I just want to send you a big shout out. I hadn't sent everybody a big shout out, but I'll just stroll through just for a second. Alex, what's up, man? Let me see what you got. Understand what I'm saying. Prince Hall was the first black Mason along with the 14 brothers initiated in the United States. Brother, but I'm talking about black Masons contribute their contributions to Freemasonry. And it just didn't start with Prince Hall. Yeah, here in the United States, I'll give you that. And even some believe Christopher Addicks was Prince Hall. Because really, if you want to be upfront, there's no real picture of Prince Hall anywhere. There's no real documentation. We've heard, we've read, we've seen. I'm just saying what somebody else has written about Prince Hall. Okay? That's all I have. And come to find out, a lot of that is misinformation. Where someone wrote, well, he was a Grand Master. And then later find out he was never a Providence Grand Master of any sort. I'm just saying, if we don't keep an accurate history about who we are in Freemasonry, then it'll be forever distorted. And some of us will distort our own history just to prove a point. Some of us will lie on the other ones just to prove a point. Well, you know, Banks was never initiated, you know, so I don't know how he became a Mason. I don't know, am I using that correctly? Was it Banks? And I don't want to do that. I don't want to misquote. I don't want to put Banks in a bad light. William Banks, okay, International Free and Accepted Mason. All right. So this is what I'm saying. And Brother White, I'm waiting on you to send me that paperwork, bro. I'm excited. I had to go do some reading on my own. I did. You know, and I want to say thank you for putting that little bug in my ear like yesterday. Because I got excited about it. That's just the truth. So what else we got here? I'm just reading some of the comments. The legend of the third degree wasn't always about ham and biff. There has been over 600 years of rituals. If prior researchers applied, you will know that it was a first and second degree system. I'm not going to disagree with that. As a matter of fact, I am going to agree with you on that. The reason I'm talking about this previous system that we have here today, that is the basic fundamental system for which most of us can subscribe to. Because American Freemasonry is different than Freemasonry outside of its borders. So when I say that, I'm just particularly talking in regards to those degrees that most of us are familiar with. So, yeah. That's brother Christopher. You can send him down if you want to. I'll be ready in just a second. Yeah. So when we think of that, this is where we're at. This is how we have to view the whole system. You know? So you're right in regards to the first and second degree. Yeah, just slide that on by. Yeah. Just have a seat. So you good? Alright, I'm alright. Appreciate you. So just think about that for a moment, because a lot of times we get written out of history because there's no one that really wanted us to be a part of it. Let's just be honest. Okay, and the brother is right about the different systems or degrees within Freemasonry. He's absolutely right. The story has been told over and over again. The systems have changed over and over again. There's always been secret societies upon this planet, always. Even after Freemasonry is dead and gone, there always will be. Just like the Odd Fellows. The Odd Fellows was once a very strong, prominent organization, but they was not able to change with the times. And now there's only a few Odd Fellows around. The Odd Fellows are very similar to Freemasonry. We've all heard of the mechanics. Mechanics are very similar to Freemasonry. Signs and symbols and words and tokens. They have it. The ideal is for us. I'm talking to the Black Freemason and the Sisters of the Order of the Eastern Star. Write it down and pass it along. Because if you don't, somebody else will, and then you be looking like, I thought. No. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Greetings, brother. This is Brother Walker, hailing from the most wishful Ham Grand Lodge, Ancient Phoenix Mason jurisdiction of Maryland, Omega Lodge number 17. Welcome aboard. I appreciate you. Greetings to all. Brother Charles, how you doing? Good evening to everybody. We don't all agree because not everyone is receiving or understanding the same esoteric teachings. The ideal is that even if we're not receiving, as a matter of fact, most of us don't even teach esoteric. Let's just be honest with that. Most of us don't even teach esoteric teachings in our Masonic lodges. They don't. A lot of us is afraid of it. When I talk about voodoo, some say voodoo, you get afraid. Voodoo? Oh my God. Yes. You know, our Mexican brothers and sisters celebrate the Day of the Dead. They do. But you let us to begin it, man. No, no. What? No. Because of what we've been taught. See, for one thing, we've been taught that the very thing that we love about ourselves is not good. The very thing that we love about ourselves, we've always been taught that that's not good. We've always had our own systems. When the master got sick on the plantation, they took him to the doctor, not the white doctor. Let's just be honest, they took him to Big Mama. That's a fact. They took him to Big Mama. And she gave him the remedies and the roots and things like that she made. You know, we've seen roots. You know, they have the story about the black child at the bottom of the master feet, so he can, you know, our bodies was able to absorb the negative energy that he or she may have had inside of her, and he has his feet upon that child. Come on, we've seen that. But that's what we get. And this is where we're at until we change the teachings. That was only those 400 years of these 400 years of us being over here in these United States of America is only a small part of who we really are in our DNA. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. You let a good rhythm, you let a good song come on with some rhythm, some strong bass vibe and thumping. You let that shit pop, this stuff pop on. You let it come on and see what happens to you. You're gonna start. You don't even know the words of the song, but you gonna. That's because that's who we are. If you look at any of the Greeks, fraternities who step or who stomp, and then you go back and you look at your brothers over in Africa, how they dance, how they get down. Okay, not only that, look how the drums and the rhythm and the vibe does. See what it does to your body. You know, now you think I'm lying? I said it earlier on another video. If you're in church and the guy that's on the organ or the sister that's on the organ or the brother, the sisters who's on the drum, you let them hit a chord on that organ and see what happens to your body. You're gonna send chills down your spine. You're gonna be like, whoa. You are. But that's who we are. We're that connected. But until we understand that, we're going to always be at a disadvantage. Always. The second degree system was that of the conscious. The conscious. AKA obsession, purple one, and frustration, red. That's the second degree. To suffer guilt. This is what made God strange to the liberate yourself in man bone. Maha bone. Okay. Alright. See there? See, there you go. There you go. Michael, there you go. You need to stop. Alright. The Western society religion has made people scared of themselves. You're right. They have made us to be afraid of ourselves and what we have come up with. I would tell you this, being brought up in Mississippi, my mom had some stuff in a mason jar. I don't know where it was or where she got it from, but they had people that they will go see, that these people will make things and stuff and put them in a mason jar. You have to set it in the window so the sun can hit it. And it does whatever it does, and she will make you drink it. If she felt you was getting sick and they didn't have no insurance, oh, you are not going to the doctor. You hear me clearly? You give me that Castrol or Carnivore or some stuff that they got made up, you gonna drink it and you going to school tomorrow because that's gonna heal your body. We got down like that. But now, we don't know the first thing about how we heal ourselves. We don't know the first thing that, you know, if you would just meditate, you know, take time out of your day to meditate, to concentrate, to renew your mind with useful knowledge, then take and apply that knowledge to your manhood. So as you get older, you can reflect upon a well-spent life. That's some deep stuff for you. But most of us can't take it that way because most of us are not ready. See, most of us bring people into Freemasonry who are not even worthy of being a Mason. They're in it for the wrong reasons. Oh, let's go out and tear up the house tonight. Let's go shake a leg or something, whatever. So this is where we're at, people. You know, but we're going to have to write it down. We're going to have to put it down. We're going to start telling our story. You know, and just think about it. 40 years ago, you were not allowed to set in a white Masonic lodge. I never said there was not some of us that hadn't done it. Never said that. I'm just saying, on a broader scale, you were not. And then for some of us to take that and flip it and use it against those who can't today, it's crazy. Sure. You know? And think about this. If you are part of the Mormons church, think about that. You, as a black man or woman, were not allowed to be in their religion. Not long ago. We only talking 40 years ago, and we only talking outside of 50 years from being outside of Jim Crow. So if you are 40, 45, you first generation outside of Jim Crow, unless you got some kids who got kids. Think about that for a moment. We love to kind of if we would challenge white Masons like we challenge each other based upon their history, based upon their contribution, man, that's a game changer. But ain't none of us is going to do that. Period. Well, there may be a few. I ain't gonna never say none of us. There may be a few. But most of us are not going to do that. We're going to greet them. How you doing, my brother? Yeah. But you see me coming. Ah, there go that clandestine Mason right there. See, that's the craziest shit. That's the stuff you don't think about. It's bigger than you. Our contribution to Freemasons and the Order of the Eastern Star is bigger than you. It is. Most show up to meetings and read the minutes, pay the bill and taxes. That is why attendance is so low. If we begin to divulge into the esoteric and alchemy and the mysteries, brothers will return. I agree with that. But most of us don't want to do that. We really don't. I will share this with you. I went to my lodge meeting on Friday, and we split it up into like a couple of hours. So, for those brothers who was part of the appending bodies, the Scottish Rite, York Rite, we stayed after the Blue Lodge meeting and went into our Scottish Rite meeting that evening. And we purposely indulged ourselves from the 4th to the 14th degree. We did that for us. We did that for us. Okay? It was not our regular stated meeting for the Scottish Rite, but we did that for us. And this is what you need to start doing. You need to start doing things for yourself in your lodge, in your chapters. That's what you need to start doing. And to show brothers and sisters along the way how these different houses are opening up. I would tell you this based upon my visitation to other jurisdictions and my own. I was when we was at the Lodge of Perfection meeting, I noticed that my Spanish brothers, they opened their blue lodges in the Scottish Rite. It is very similar to the LOP. They pass around what you call the fraternal bag, where you make contributions of charity to your loved ones, to the orphans, to the widows. That charity goes to them. They do that in their blue lodge. But if you're a member of the Lodge of Affection, LOP, American Scottish Rite, you know that we pass along the bag of charity, or we make a contribution to charity in your meetings. Okay? But that's how they do it. That's their system. And this is the importance of visitation and traveling. So, hey, look, I can go on about the information that I have and some other stuff, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and cut it short right now. I'm going to go grab something to eat. I got one of my lodge brothers over, and we're going to do that. But whatever you do, and all your doings, do it for you. Do it for your lodge. Check out the information I'm sharing with you and verify it. And we can have this conversation again. House versus... Oh my God. I want to say a big shout out to Steve M. Jackson, my administrator. He want to make sure that everybody stays on track today. You know, you got about 10 more minutes, bro? Okay, I got 10 more minutes. I can keep trucking for 10 more minutes. I'm gonna share this here. I'm gonna share this with you. Truth is our biggest problem. It is true that PHA, mainstream, are the only two Masonic jurisdictions. Let me repeat that. I want you to follow me. Truth is our biggest problem. It is true that PHA and mainstream are the only two Masonic organizations in the United States based upon their truth. They will fight the other over truth. Okay? And not only that, and to know, and here's the funny part. If it was true that they was the only true Masonic bodies in the United States, we wouldn't be having that fight. I just want you to think for a minute. If it was true that Prince Hall and Mainstream were the only two Masonic bodies in the United States, we wouldn't be having that problem. But I know many of you saying, well, because brothers, they get upset. They go start their own lodges. They go do this and they go do that. That's truth. They do. So that means to tell me that there's a problem within these various jurisdictions for brothers to do that. Oh, no, they was expelled. That's why he went and started his own Grand Lodge. That's why he went and did this. No one person starts a Grand Lodge. No one person starts a lodge according to what's been passed down from generation to generation in Freemasonry through its history. No one person starts anything. It takes a group of individuals. That's truth. That's a fact. They may plant the seed, but they can't do it by themselves. They can't do it by themselves. Say what, bro? Question.
I would say, is it not true that George Washington was part of the Fredericks? We're talking about truth.
We're talking about truth. You want to get in some of this?
No, I'm just going to
okay, go ahead.
Propose this. Is it not true that George Washington affiliated with Fredericks, I believe Fredericksburg?
Fredericksburg Lodge.
And that Fredericksburg Lodge actually was in existence before they got their actual
charter. Yes.
By definition,
they was considered clandestine.
They were considered clandestine according to that.
Yes.
And also by definition of what was going on at that time, they would not even bring you in until they saw that you had been a lodge for 2 years, so that they could see that you were actually going to be viable.
Correct.
So the process originally was that, according to the way we do things today, was that they would come, allow a, today's term, clandestine lodge to come into existence, give it 2 years to see if it's going to hang on, then give them the okay to be a part of that Grand Lodge. So if that be the case, then the question comes then to, what is the problem with people who have established a different truth, so that they now say that that is improper? So if that's the case, then you're also saying that George Washington was not part of the Masonic order, because of the mere fact that he came in, according to today, the wrong way.
Yeah. According to the day, according to the day, he came in the wrong way. Absolutely. According to the day, in Prince Hall, he came in the wrong way.
Exactly.
So this is my point: is that when you see this, everybody is jacked up.
Now I'm gonna throw another question in here. If we had George Washington in the room, and we had Prince Hall in the room, who do you think in that year they were going to pick as part of their organization? Prince Hall's or George Washington? I think that if you think about it and look at the color of your skin and look at the times that were going on, you had no chance. Over George. They were going to pick George Washington.
Absolutely.
Even though he was clandestine.
So
that should tell you something right then and there, that the rules and the powers of history are always rewritten in the favor of those who were the rulers.
Okay, so my brother said history is always written in favor of the people in power. That's what he said. Now you can agree to disagree, but I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that.
I'll say right now, there's a lady who was a member of the publishing house that prints books, like McGraw-Hill.
Right.
And what happened was, her son came home. I think this was in Atlanta or Texas. But her son came home, and he brought a book, and the book had said that African Americans were not slaves, but they were immigrants that came over here on their own free will. Now, the question is that true? Because it was in the book he was reading. What happened is that his mom, knowing it's not true, took that book to the publisher and they got rid of that book.
Right.
But now, do you think they're not going to try to present it again in another way?
Oh, hell
because
yeah.
The end result is that they want to get rid of the stigma that slavery put upon America. And they want to get rid of that talk, reparations and all this kind of stuff.
Right, right.
They want to get rid of that guilt. And I'm going to tell you something. That's why, in all reality, now this is my opinion. Right here, I'm going to say, in my opinion, I go to church like everybody else. But in my opinion, a lot of the teachings, even from a church point of view, have to do with that once you have sinned, that you are forgiven from now on for those sins.
Right.
Now, this is the interesting thing. Why do you gotta be feeling like you need to be forgiven for a sin? Do you see what I'm talking about?
Right, right.
It's almost like they want to make sure that they're handling the guilt issue that many people that have done wrong to people in this country they can get away with it. My Bible still says you reap what you sow.
Well,
so my thing is that
America is definitely getting ready to reap what they sow. But go ahead.
So I was telling some brothers at church, they didn't want to hear this. I said, I'm going to be for real with you. I said, the Old Testament, when you go back and you look, it says, "Hear ye, O Israel." God said, I'm going to make a covenant with you. Now, you tell me who Israel is. And I'll tell you who Israel's not. Israel's not Canaanites. It is not Edomites. It is not Amorite. And anybody from that history is not them. So when people start telling me today about how they couldn't do certain things, and that's why there was a New Testament, I said, you didn't have anything to do because you didn't have a relationship in the first place. You or your people. It was only the Israelites that had that relationship. And you go back and you find out who the Israelites are today. Now, when you find out who they are, then in Deuteronomy, when you find out that they said that some of these folks were going to forget who they were and be taken to a foreign land, now you go back and you look at that beating of Toby. And what was the first thing they do?
What's your name?
What's your name?
What's your name, boy?
That Kunta Kinte, slap. No.
Beat it out of
him. It's Toby. It's Toby. And finally, let me tell you something. When you get hit so many times as a human being, after a while, if you want to live, you'll go ahead and assimilate.
Yep.
And then when you
do you think that is what most of us have done? We've become Americanized. We have assimilated, and now we can't even find our unity amongst ourselves because of that. Because of what someone else has said and what someone else has done to us. Now we're so scattered we cannot assimilate with each other.
The problem that we have is exactly what you say, and that is that because of a lack of knowledge or being fed the wrong truth, we have a wrong paradigm. And there's a thing called a paradigm shift. That's when a person has that epiphany that says that, oh, wait a minute, that's not right. But the problem is many of us are unwilling or have not come to that epiphany to say that, wait a minute, the way I was taught history in school, the way I was taught about brotherhoods and blacks, that whole thing, that's not right. But the problem is that if some of us have gotten caught up, whereas that our definition of success, our paradigm, is that definition of success is built around the dollar bill and not around knowledge. It used to be that to have knowledge, I mean, even in China,
it meant something.
Even in China, they pay teachers really well.
Let me read this. The brother said the 4 million blacks in America and their 1,200 million Africans in Africa, 1,200 million in Africa do not call themselves black. They are nationality. All right. Black men in America, especially in the Bible Belt, or Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, will kill you if you go after the after his name in religion. Well, that's true. Hawkins, you focus on black Masonic thoughts. What is your direction? Do you see it's going? Okay, so my thoughts let me see. My thoughts on on black masonry is that until we realize who we are, we're gonna be forever a scattered people in Freemasonry.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Until you realize who you are in this scheme, you're gonna be scattered. That's just the truth. I don't care where you at. It's just a fact. Until Prince Hall brother realized that his brother, who's ancient, free, and accepted Mason, is a Mason, even if they're in different jurisdiction, we're going to always be in disagreement. Until an international brother or a modern free brother or a PHA brother realize that we're in the same damn boat, we're going to always be in this position. Because we've been put in this position. The fact of the matter is we can get out of it. Here's the thing. What usually happens is that if you join me, it'll be much better for you. That's the wrong answer. If we work together, it's the answer. If we work together, I'm not saying I got to come to your lodge. I mean, hear me clearly. I said if we work together. See, unity doesn't necessarily mean we all are going to agree on how we get to point A to point B. Unity is moving towards point A to point B. That's what unity is. But some of us are so hell-bent and jealous of the next person who becomes successful without going to that person and asking them, how did you become successful? What was your remedy? How did you get here? Now, maybe I'll take some of what he has used and some of what she has used and some of that which John has used, and I make my own pie. And it tastes good to me. This is what got me here. This is my success. But until we realize that, we're going to be where we're at, a scattered people. It's not even rocket science. But I tell you what, after the end of this month, there's going to be a push. There is going to be a push to unite. I didn't say to overrule or to come together up under one elevator, one umbrella. I didn't say that. I said to unite. After this month, there's going to be a push to unite. But you have to be able to set aside your ignorance to do that. In order for someone to unite, they have to set aside their ignorance to do that. Yeah, go ahead.
An elder told me one time, he said, son, if you see two brothers arguing, leave them alone. He says, because if you jump in and try to attack one of them, they will come together and defend themselves and attack you. And what he meant by that is that the blood of the two of them is thicker. And so therefore, because of the mere fact that they do have differences, they have not forgotten that they are family.
Wait a minute. So in saying that, have we as Masons in the various jurisdictions forgotten that we were family or that we are family? Based upon our own experience in these Americas, have we forgotten that? That may be for another show. That's another question we have to ask ourselves. Have we forgotten that we are family? And I'm going to say hell yeah. I'm going to say that a lot of us have forgotten that we are family because you know what? Here's the key. I'm the only one. I'm the only one there. I'm the only one at the board meeting. I'm the only one been elected. I'm the only one. You have to ask yourself, why in the hell are you the only one? How come nobody else is there to look like you? Ask yourself that. I'm the only one to ever do it. Why are you the only one to ever do it? Well, I'm the only. They won't let nobody else do it, but I'm the only one. You need to start asking yourself, why are you the only one at the board meeting? Why are you the only one who's the surgical tech? Why are you the only one who's the manager in the hospital and everybody else is nothing like you? Why are you the only one? Start asking yourself that.
Why is, if this be the case, why is Prince Hall the only one that the main line would accept?
Well,
The viewpoint is that they're the only ones that are accepted. Now here's the thing. I know in slavery days that Willie Lynch said that if you pitch these people against each other, if you bring some of them in the house and make others go out in the field, if you compliment some on their hair and their skin complexion, and then others you talk about the difference, if you do it for a certain amount of years, they will perpetuate this behavior for generations to come. So now the question is this just part of that somebody's been invited to sit at the table and somebody else has not, and because of it, somebody thinks that for some reason that they are better?
Yeah, you can see it from that perspective. Oh, yes. And going back to answering this question that I just seen that somebody just posted in regards to, you said you have to understand that Freemasonry is older than the Grand Lodge system of 1717. Ask yourselves, where did the Plan Bus 9 stuff started from? Yeah, they do. They have to ask themselves that. Greetings, everybody. 1120 Sounds. Welcome aboard. Greetings, brothers and sisters. How's everyone doing? Also, great host. How you been, Brother Hawkins? I've been well, brother. I have been well. Thank you. I appreciate you asking me that. Psalms 133. Let's unite in unity. I'm a Prince Hall, PHO, but I love your concept, brother. Thoughts unite. We can do a lot. Oh, yeah, we can.
Amen.
We can do a lot if we choose to, and that's the problem. We do not choose to accept or to respect each other. We don't choose to. Some of us, but I'm talking about on a bigger scale. I'm talking about on a broader scale. We don't choose to respect or accept each other. But you let John Henry come tell you that his water is colder. Oh, yeah. I'm just saying. I'm looking at facts on history. Stuff that most of you already know. So for me to go back and bring that back and go back and whatever, it does us no good. The process is to take that which we know and use it for our advantage, our good. We already know the plan. Conquer and divide. You know the plan. That's why you're the only one. Now, it is up to you who's the only one to bring somebody else along. Now, everybody is not going to want to come along. Now, we know that. And if they don't, it's okay. Leave them there. But you can't divulge your secrets and tell them anything, because they'll go back and tell what you're trying to do. So be careful. Hear me clearly. Be careful who you share your secrets with and what you're trying to accomplish. Be it Masonically or be it in life in general, because everybody is not going to be on your team. They're not. Go ahead. Talk to me.
Now, everybody take your time and go back and study. Really go back and take your time and study. If you don't have time to study, just pull up the film. Just get a little bit of excerpt from Malcolm X from Spike Lee. If you don't feel like reading, you can watch it. It gives you a little bit of overview. But the part I want you to notice is that Malcolm X is dealing with an Islamic issue. But Malcolm X was told that there was a difference between the black Muslim and the white Muslim. And what he did was he went to Mecca and found out that it was all shapes and colors and sizes. And he was like, oh, I was taught wrong. Mm-hmm. So when he came back to America, his first thing was to put together an organization and a school that would be designed for the purpose of being able to bring them all together. But his quote was that I'm going to start first with my own community. Mm-hmm. And then once we get our own community together, our head together, understand our history and mm-hmm. what our purpose is mm-hmm. and where we play a role in America, then we will extend the offer to affiliate with everybody. Mm-hmm. But before he could get his speech done, they shot him on stage.
That is true. That's why you can't tell everybody what you're trying to do. For the benefit and good of everybody. You can't tell them all what you're trying to do. You can't. There's a few people that's in this group today know exactly what's about to take place at the end of this month. And I just shared it with my brother. Some of my own brothers in my lodge don't know what's about to take place because everybody's not privy to that information. This has to take place. It has to. And when it does, oh my Lord. But anyway, so look, I got to go get something to eat. We've been on here for a minute, and I just want to say thank you, Brother Christopher Hurd. He came by today, gonna go get a little fish, little hush puppies, and buy myself a soda, and we gonna go and eat a little bit. You know what I mean? So look, once again, I appreciate everybody for coming on. I really do. Let me see what greetings. I have a question. All right, so I'm gonna take this last one, and I'm definitely gonna do that. Stay out the bushes and keep my light on. I'm definitely gonna do that. But let's look at this last question here. I have by Anita. What's up, sis? Greetings. I have a question. It may or may be on this topic. I belong to a chapter who represents her lodge brothers who refuse to represent their sisters. Whoa. Let me get this call. Hello? Hello, can I help you? Yeah, this is Brother Hawks. Who am I speaking to? Hey, you calling? You want to be on the show? You wait. Are you calling Brother the Grandmaster Diamond? You calling to be on the show? What you call me though, Grandmaster? So what you got to say? Cause I'm gonna put you on. Hold on. So look, I'm trying to get out here and get some meat, but I have Grandmaster Diamond. Grandmaster, go ahead, talk to me. What you got to say?
Hey, my brother. Hey, man, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And man, that brother Heard that you got talking with you tonight, tell that brother he needs to come on the show. Let us see his face and go on and lay that knowledge down. Because you brothers are bouncing off each other, man, like a rubber ball, and it's working for me. So I wanted to just call and give you that encouragement. And tell that brother, man, come on. Don't be bashful. You sitting over in the corner, we can barely hear it, and I'm straining. Come on here and talk to me.
Hey, this is Brother Herb. He just come from his doctor's appointment, and I saw him as I was at work. He was coming for his doctor's appointment, so he was like, "Let's go get some meat after I'm done." So he's over here tonight. He got kind of caught up in the show, and he's not really 100% yet, but I'm definitely gonna have him on because the brother can spit.
Man, definitely, man, because he may not be 100%, but he's speaking truth, so he know a little something.
And brother, that's exactly where all conversations between husbands and wives, between blacks and whites, between anybody that has an issue, they need to start with truth. That's exactly what you said. But the problem we have today is that we got a lot of people that have been fed different forms of truth, different forms of truth. And because they've been fed different forms of truth, they're operating in different areas thinking that the value system of that truth lies where they are and not taking into account that a piece of... hey, let me tell you something real quick. I'm gonna tell you something.
Go for it.
No, I'm fine.
I was about to give him the seat.
I'm going to talk from a religious point of view because sometimes it's easier for people to understand that. From a religious point of view, I was telling people, like, even where I go, I said, I promise you, I have not seen anybody knock on as many doors as Jehovah's Witness. When's the last time you knocked on a door? And they like look at me. I said, hold on a second, but I haven't seen any. Many people talk about the Holy Spirit as a Pentecostal person. When's the last time you really got into the Holy Spirit and talked about it? Everybody got quiet. I said, in our reality, I have not seen anybody be as committed to their cause as an Orthodox Jew, because on a Saturday, he's dressing a certain way, he's walking a certain way, and he's not using his car, but he is sticking to that. I have not seen anybody like a Muslim being as close to being able to stick to their diet. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of truth, but these pieces of the puzzle are all supposed to be in one basket. And to me, that heavenly God was supposed to be saying, like, all y'all doing a piece of it. But I'm trying to tell you, you're supposed to all be doing it all together. You're supposed to be knocking on doors, everybody. You're supposed to be talking about the Spirit, everybody. You're supposed to be sitting here trying to do the things that all of these little factions are doing. But what you see is that, like they said, this was a divide and conquer type thing. And as long as you keep things divided, right? As long as you keep things,
Right.
and that is the essence of making sure that you never get the whole truth. And that's the first thing that they ask you on the bench. They want the what?
Truth.
The whole truth,
And
nothing but the truth. Because they know there's a such thing as a half truth. Am I right about it?
You're right.
And we ain't come here today.
That's right.
We got somebody about to go to jail, and we need to know the whole truth. And so that's what I'm saying is that when we got somebody's spirit on the line, we got somebody's soul on the line, we got somebody's history on the line. We want the whole truth, not part of the truth. And so that's what we should be trying to work on. Prince Hall should be telling themselves, "I've got part of the truth, but you ain't giving me the whole truth, mainline." And then some of the people that are in other places need to be saying, "You know what? I got part of the truth, but we don't have all the truth. But the only way we're gonna get all the truth is that we sit down at the table and just like husband and wife and say, okay, let me tell you what really happened."
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, when you do that, then all of a sudden the epiphany that I was talking about, the light will come on. And all of a sudden, everybody will see who they are for what they are. And then when that day comes, that you see who you are for what you are, and you go back and you start realizing that when, I'm going to say this real quick, you know what leprosy is, don't you?
Yeah.
And you remember when Moses says he took his hand and he put it in his thing,
right,
and it came out like leprosy.
Right.
Well, you had to be able to tell the difference. Am I right about it?
You had to be able to tell the difference.
So one of the things I started putting together, I'm sure y'all put it together too, was that if he came in and came out and you can't tell the difference, you came in, you came out, you can tell the difference, well then that's telling me that whatever it was before he went in, it was obvious that it was darker than when he came.
When he came out.
Now?
Yep.
Okay, keep that in thought. The other thing, when Jesus, I'm just using this as an example now. When Jesus got ready to get away from, when his parents said, "Let's go down to Egypt."
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I live in San Diego. Now you know good and well if I'm hiding from somebody, I ain't going to La Jolla.
Okay.
Am I right about it? If I'm in Los Angeles, I'm not hiding in Beverly Hills. Am I right about it?
That's it.
That's right. Police probably there he is right there, walking down the aisle because the vast majority of the people don't look like me.
Right.
But when you're walking in Egypt, and they say, "Have you seen a person that look like this?" They say, "All of us look like that."
Yep.
So that should start telling you after a while some of the information I've been receiving, some of the pictures on the wall I've been looking at with the blue eyes and blonde hair. There's a truth. There's a half truth here, and if you give me that whole truth, I make sure you know what it is, the fire under a people, that burning desire that gets you beyond, gets you going, that faith that gets you going. But you gotta study, come together, find out what that real truth is, and when you find out what that real truth is, and then you may find out who your real enemy is.
Whoa.
Right?
Well, with that being said, and what he just broke down, I'm gonna leave that alone. But hey, there's a sister Anita on here, and I want her to give me a call as soon as she can. Hey, brother Stephen Johnson Jackson. Oh my God! Could you please go ahead and put my number back up there so this sister Anita can give me a call? That number is going to be 619-985-1184. Sis, you can give me that conversation, and I can give you more information on the question that you're asking in regards to having in regards to that topic, belonging to a chapter who represents her lodge brothers who refuse to represent their sisters. That may be a show. But hey, sis, give me a call. I look forward to hearing from you. That number is 619-985-1184. Just give me a call after I log off, and I'll certainly be able to assist and aid you along the way. So, hit the like button. I appreciate it. Grandmaster, hopefully I see you at our quarterly session. If all goes well, Godspeed be with you. All right?
All right, my brother. Peace to you.
Peace to you. Hey, and to everybody else, whatever you do, stay out them bushes and keep your light on. I'm out. I think I'm out. This thing on. Oh, there you go.